If you're the type of person to consider yourself just not a hat person, or you haven't found the right hat style for you, you're missing out on the most essential fashion accessory there is available today. But the good news is this video is also for you. I hear it all the time. I'm not a hat person. I don't look good in hats. I used to not hear it. I used to say it myself. That is until I found the right hat for me. This hat right here. The day that I got this hat, a 7-Eleven manager liked it so much, she gave me $30 off everything in the store. I'm not kidding. My friends and I were on vacation in Seattle like 3 weeks ago, and we were at a Seattle Mariners game. And at the Mariners game, my friend and I purchased Mariners hats. We got pretty similar hats. Mine is this cream color. It's got the puff embroidery on the front, that thing on the side. It's a snapback hat, 47 brand. It's got a cool inside as well. Something pretty nice to commemorate America's favorite Washington baseball team. But let me tell you, the moment I put this thing on my head, I immediately started getting compliments. I never get compliments when I'm wearing a hat. That night, my friend and I were at a 7-Eleven near our Airbnb, and the manager liked our style so much, she gave us good-looking discounts. You can't make this stuff up. The good-looking discount totaled to like $30 off everything in the store and free roller dogs. Free roller dogs. That's the stuff America's built on. Yeah.
Really sorry to interrupt your work again.
What's up? Do you want to be in a video? Remember how me and Brennan got the good-looking discounts in Seattle?
Yeah.
This video is about hats.
That's true. It's true.
The good-looking discount is true. Long story short, I wear this hat everywhere I go. I still get compliments on it, and it's definitely not because of the Mariners. And having a hat that works for you changes your life. I can just throw this thing on whenever, and it'll make any outfit look good. Anytime my hair sucks, which is just whenever it's red, so pretty often, I can just throw this thing on, and it's better than if my hair was good. Everybody needs to have a good hat that they can wear whenever they need. That's why in this video, I'll be using the extensive hat inventory and resources we have here at 1-800-T-Shirts to give you everything you need to know in order to go out and find the perfect hat for you and maybe have the best night of your life at a 7-Eleven. In this video, we'll be covering hat styles, fits, decoration methods, and how to wear the hat on your head for the best look. By the end of this video, you will be a hat guy or girl, a hat person, a Mad Hatter, a Seattle Mariner. Anywho, the first style of hat we'll be covering is the dad hat. This is the classic American baseball cap. It's the most versatile, beloved hat style. It's laid back, it's fun, it's free. It's the dad hat. You can tell it's a dad hat because it's very loose in structure. It's very floppy, very loose, very soft, and the brim or the bill of the hat is curved. These hats offer a pretty loose fit. They're very versatile. One size fits most. Dad hats also very often have this type of adjustable strap instead of a snapback, which we'll cover later. I'm not too mechanically gifted, so I struggle with these types of straps. However, I do like how they look in terms of the whole hat. It's just a miracle I can even tie my shoes in the morning. You're gonna look best in a dad hat if you have a smaller or a narrow head because it has this low profile, so it's gonna sit flat on your head, and the curved brim is gonna complement that kind of head shape pretty nicely. Also, if your style is vintage or laid back, this is going to match up best with that. And finally, if you're going to be doing any activity and you have a choice, go with the dad hat. I worked for our county's Parks and Rec department all summer. The dad hat style is the only reason I'm still here today in those hot months. Fun fact, 1-800-T-Shirts was actually printing that stuff, and this was 2 years before I ever even worked here. It's a very small world, especially, it's a small county, I guess. But the next hat we'll be covering is the snapback. This is the most popular hat in the modern era, specifically the Richardson 112. This is a hat style you're going to want to know if you like snapback hats. It's one of the most popular and well-liked types of snapbacks. Snapbacks come in a lot of shapes and sizes, but we're going to focus on the trucker hats, as they're called, because they're the most common and popular types of hat styles. The snapback is notable for the amount of structure it has up front. It's got a very rigid crown. The brim is a lot flatter than the dad hat, but these things are usually still curved. The mesh back makes it a lot more breathable and less uncomfortable when things get a little hot, sticky, when stuff hits the fan. And finally, they're called snapbacks because the back has an adjustable strap that snaps. Nothing too complicated here. These things are gonna have a more rigid fit than the dad hat. The back is nice and loose, but the brim is what's rigid up front on the forehead. You're gonna wanna get yourself a snapback or a trucker hat if you have a round or a larger head. This will get that head shape nice and balanced out. It's gonna look the best. Or if you're going for a modern or a sporty or a trendy style, these are gonna be your go-to. And they're most commonly worn by the blue-collar workforce. They look good, they mean business, and they're called a trucker hat. Side note, there's obviously different types of snapbacks. For example, something like this that's a little more uniform all the way around, or my Seattle Mariners hat, which might look like a fitted from a distance. The thing that does remain the same across all of them, though, is that loose back and that structure up front. Finally, we have the fitted hat. This is the modern baseball sports hat. You most often will see team logos on it. However, you can have different designs as well. The key difference you're going to see with the fitteds, though, is that wide, flat brim, and the key difference you're not going to see is adjustability, which means to get one that's going to fit you right, you have to measure your head. If you're down to do that, by all means, I'm being a hater. I don't want to measure my head. I'm gonna hate the answer. I have a big head. But if you can get the right size on one of these, it's gonna look awesome. They fit snug and their look is very modern, sleek, and athletic. So you're gonna want to wear one of these if you have a well-proportioned head and a tape measure to measure it. Let's talk decoration. This is actually what I got the most compliments on my good looking discount hat. Decoration is just what's been put on the hat, and believe it or not, it's a huge factor. This hat in particular has the two main types of decorations that you'll see on hats. It's got embroidery, puff embroidery, which gives it a 3D look jutting out of the hat, a lot of depth, and it's very cool. And then regular embroidery on the sides. This looks a bit more part of the hat and a bit more sleek. So when it comes to embroidery on a hat, those are the two main types you're gonna see. Regular embroidery is gonna look very high end, and it fits right into the front of that hat very nicely. Puff embroidery is where the hat makers like to have a little fun. This is my favorite example that we have here. It's a white hat with white embroidery, but because it's puff, it sticks out. The puff gives that 3D look. It adds a lot of depth to the hat's design, and it stands out. It always looks cool. Another decoration style you're gonna see a lot on hats is the patch. The patch can be leather, regular, this rubberish 3D material. It can be pressed on, glued on, sewed on. There's a lot of different ways you can go with a patch on a hat, and they tend to give the hat like a really cool, authentic or rugged style. Companies like to have their logo in a square or a circle and have it pressed on the hat, especially because the structure up front means whenever you're wearing it, that patch is going to be a lot more visible than like a dad hat, which lays more flat and might be harder to see. Finally, how do you wear these things? The general rule of thumb for how to best wear a hat on your head is to balance the inside brim right on the ledge above your eyebrows and keep the rest of the hat completely straight and level. And listen, if I catch you wearing a hat brim down and fully off the back of your head in public, I'm gonna make fun of you in my head. If you're cool with that, wear the hat however you like. It's a rule of thumb. We have 10 fingers for a reason. There's 9 other ways that you can do it. I thought that was funny. But getting into the best ways to wear specific styles, the dad hat is best tilted up a little bit, keeping it loose, keeping it laid back, especially because if you get too tight with one of these, it might look a little small on your head, which is just not gonna look great. The snapback, it's best to follow the rule of thumb as best you can. Keep it straight and forward on your head. That crown's gonna do all the work, giving your face a lot of structure. And the same goes for fitteds. So to wrap this up, if you have a small and narrow head, a dad hat or a flat, low profile hat is gonna look best on you. If you have a bigger, more round head, you're gonna wanna add structure into the mix, getting a snapback or a fitted. If you're going for a more rugged vintage look, dad hats and patches. If you want a more modern, sleek, professional look, snapbacks, trucker hats, and fitteds are gonna be best. I hope this video was of some use to you, and you'll be able to find the right hat for you just off the top of your head. And of course, if you have any questions about hats or just general style, leave them in the comments below. If you'd like a video on different styles of hats, because we just covered baseball caps in this, let us know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. If you're ever in Seattle and going to a 7-Eleven, wear the nicest hat you can. You might be going into the same one I did to get the good looking discount. The manager there is one of the nicest ladies I've ever met in my life. Tell her I say hi. And of course, if you have any needs for custom apparel, head on over to 1-800tshirts.com to see how you can get the best. Goodbye.